Gigi the Gadget Goddess. It's been about a week and a half since I received this wonderful device, and I wanted to give you an update on it. I actually finally got my first bumper for it, which I am really happy about. It works out really well with this phone. Screen protector is holding up well, hadn't had any issues with it, so I figured let's come back and revisit this wonderful phone that I've been using alongside the Z Fold 2 and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Let's get started. First, I want to thank and shout out Craig Jackson. He commented on my unboxing video that the methods I used for Google Play installation for him worked fine. He's able to process and use his banking applications and everything. So that'll answer some of the questions that people constantly ask. Nobody asked in that video, but I did state that I don't use banking on any of my phones just because I don't, for safety reasons. But he's able to, coordinate with his bank and everything through his Huawei device using that service. He also said he was going to get this phone, so I hope he receives it soon, and I hope he enjoys it as much as I've enjoyed mine. Let me show you this bumper that I got from V-Mall, which I had never used this website before. I want to apologize for unboxing this case when it got here. I really just couldn't wait to get some protection on this device. I did unbox it, put it on, and not show you how the adhesive strips sat. One sits here, one sits here, one sits here, and one sits here, and there's none on the edge here, and there's none on the edge here. I received this case in 10 days from overseas, and they have various models. They have a purple, a teal, plain black. I like this black and gray kind of design. It gives a little flavor to the phone. The bumper around the top and bottom are still just plain, and they offer some protection around that little hinge piece that they put in there to keep the dust out. This little rounded piece keeps dust from getting under the screen. When closed, it's still a very attractive, kind of bumper. I do have to dig a little more to get that piece to pop out, but it still pops out just fine. It does not mess with the camera sensors or the camera. I think more or less people are just wanting to know how I feel about this phone in comparison to this phone. This is the Samsung Z Fold 2. That's a beautiful case, isn't it? It is truly hard to carry 3 phones and use them all. This phone has a extra Mint SIM in it that, although all of my alerts and stuff come through from my social media, I'm not gonna get calls on this because nobody has this phone number. Let's go have a seat and talk about these 2 phones. I won't say much about the iPhone. It's just its own little device here. So what can be said about these 2 devices? This phone feels like an actual regular device in my hand when I hold it. It feels like I'm holding this. Whereas when I'm using this phone, I definitely know I'm using a smaller device. I can go a week without opening up this device. I cannot go a day without using this device fully open and making me feel like I'm immersed in this device. That being said, when most people are asked about the Fold, they ask, is it a phone first and a tablet second? Which it's a unique device. I feel like this phone feels more like a tablet first, although it does everything that a phone does, which is part of the reason I don't like using it closed. Another reason I probably don't like using it closed is because I'm using Smart Launcher, and sometimes it can distort certain folders, etc. when I open them up in that application. Next up, and probably many questions for people are, is everything still working as it did when you first installed it? For the most part, I don't see any changes other than alerts being more accurate. I do want to show you that apps are still updating on the Huawei Mate Xs. I can still update through the Google Play Store, adding the extra step because I don't have the actual app installed on the phone. I also have downloaded APK Pure. This is another alternative to be able to download apps. It may not work right out of the Google Play Store, or they may not be available in the Huawei store or Petal. I have to say, when I first installed it, my alerts weren't in sync. Alerts often come in on my iPhone before they come in on my Android devices, and so sometimes I'd have to turn on my actual screen on my Fold or on my Huawei before the alerts would pop up. With the Huawei, certain alerts weren't popping up at all. Close to a week before things started coming in as they should. I do get my alerts, but they are sometimes delayed. The only app I seem not to get any notifications from is Twitter. Everything else gives me notifications. I have an iPhone that also alerts me, so that kind of still works for me. But somebody considering getting this phone as their only primary device may want to consider that all of your notifications aren't going to come through. What do I reach to pick up first? This is probably a no-brainer for most people who are close to me, and most people who know I've been a Huawei fanatic for a while. I'm picking up the Mate Xs first and foremost. It's just a more engaging experience. One of the things I didn't like from day one on my Z Fold 2 was the fact that we have this selfie camera here. And so when I'm watching YouTube videos, it's kind of like having a phone that has a notch. When you're watching videos, engaging in content, and you have this huge notch, or you have this hole in the content, it takes away from it. It lets you know, hey, you're watching this on the phone, even though you know you're watching on the phone. When I'm using this phone and I'm watching YouTube, I'm looking at pictures, etc., the full screen is mine, full exposure. I'm not much of a video chatting kind of person, but that being said, if I want a video chat, I can prop my phone like this on another device, and I will have my screen and my cameras will be showing me. I did have some people reach out and say they're using their devices with the virtual computer. The virtual computer gives you full access to Google Play services as well, but it's like you go into another compartment of your phone. I'm thinking of trying that out, but everything that removes you from coming from one screen to another, making it less work, is more about what I am. I want it to look more like it's supposed to look on any other Android device. Not necessarily, oh, well, it's Huawei, let me jump over here and do Google Play services, and then I come back into it's Huawei. I don't have RCS. I would like to have RCS, and if I eventually find a workaround for RCS, I will have it. It's not a deal breaker for me not to have RCS. No Google Play service is a deal breaker. RCS is not. Are you asking me? During this pandemic, since I've dropped all of my devices, have I not dropped this one yet? Yes, I've dropped it. Twice. It's completely fine. Screen out. I dropped it without a case. One of the bonuses to having this case that I got was that they even included a screen protector. Now, I've already bought multiple extras, but this was nice to have a screen protector that I didn't pay for. I don't know if it's the glossy finish or if it's the matte that I like, but it was nice of this company to say, hey, here's a screen protector since you want to protect your phone with our nice bumper. I will do my best to follow up some more on these two devices. I do make sure I keep these things updated. Both phones received an update last week. I was kind of happy about that. They're both for security updates, but I tell people all the time, if you don't use imports and you think they don't get updates, they do. They get updates more so than my domestic phones do. Thank you for watching and thanks for subscribing. If you have interest in joining my memberships on this channel, feel free to click the link below in the description and join my kings and queens on my royal house. I'll catch you on the next one.